Generational issue. And there's no generational issue here. These kids don't speak English, don't speak French, and they use that as well as any of our kids. In 2001, we did this in Cambodia, and it was a very important experiment because it was laptops then. And the children did take them home at night. And when they took them home at night, their parents loved it because it illuminated the room. It was the brightest light source in the house, because there's no electricity, no telephone, no television, but they had relatively broadband internet. You can see the satellite dish in the back. Now, what happened is that the role of the child changed. These children in this picture suddenly became the teachers. They became the important people in town. They were teaching their parents how to read and write. They became the people who could find the prices, the wholesale prices for rice and other things that were being grown in the village. And every single child in that picture still today is in school. Now that's very important because most people think that children leave school because their parents need them in the fields. But that's actually not true. They leave school because school's boring. It's not relevant. And that is a very, very fundamental difference. So we started the project. This was the laptop we initially had. I'll show you a picture of it. We started it as a non-profit. That's very important. It's not a commercial venture. It's a non-profit venture. And the reason that that's important is partly because it allows you to have partners like the UN, but even more important, there's a clarity of purpose. If I visit a head of state and advocate something, there is no commercial purpose. I have no benefit. In fact, our organization does not take any margin, does not take any income from the laptop. So there's a great clarity of purpose. And everybody who saw that picture in 2005 remembered the crank. Now, the crank turns out not to be a good idea when it's placed on the laptop that way, but everybody remembered because you don't need electricity. You need to just crank it because these villages don't have electricity. 50% of the children in this world have no electricity at home and no electricity at school. So you really can't expect them to have a laptop that plugs into the wall. So that was the initial start. That's the status. That's my only slide that has words in it. And then this is quickly, I'll walk you through the laptop because it's maybe hard to see. First of all, it converts into a games machine and an electronic book. That's very important, particularly the book part. The book part is important because we put in these 100 books. Now what's important is when you ship 100 laptops to a village, they each have 100 different books. So that means that the village has 10,000 books. So the African village without electricity has 10,000 books. You will not read in your lifetime 10,000 books. Now, which 10,000 books, and the countries decide, and there are lots of, they come from a collection of 1.6 million books that are available on this machine. Now that's very important because you cannot and should not ship books, physical books. It takes energy, they go out of date, they're heavy, and then there are only a few of them. There's certainly not 10,000. You can't ship 10,000 books anywhere. So that's one thing. And the other is these little ears that stick up means that they all communicate with each other. So a laptop over here can communicate with another one that relays the message to another one, and they become a network. So suddenly these children have a local area network that is very broadband, and they can, for example, share their books. Now, that's quickly the laptop. One thing you can't see, which is quite important, is that you can drop it. Okay, you can kick it. You can take it out in the rain. And some companies say they compete with us. I don't know how you compete with a non-profit, but at any rate, some companies say they compete with us, and I say, okay, throw your laptop. Nobody's done it yet. thought the next stage would be. Now, I'm very quick to tell people this is not a laptop project, it's an education project. And then I even say, well, you know, it's not even an education project, it's about hope. Because these children have no hope. And it gives them hope, and they take that hope and they convert the hope into an energy that is, if you will, transformed into learning. Having said that, I am at heart an inventor and love these sorts of things, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the laptop. And when we started doing this, and we had about 1 million of them in the field, we realized this key thing about a book. That the book, even though it's sort of old-fashioned in some ways, it had such an enormous repository, and we felt that the next format should be driven by a book. So about 1.5 years ago, we released these, but this is a book that has 2 touch-sensitive displays, and you can turn it into a laptop, you can play games. And we figured, we worked on this for about 1 year in parallel, and then decided we were wrong. That for a number of reasons, I won't bore you, that was not the right approach.
Quando l'Agenzia per la ricerca avanzata ARPA negli Stati Uniti definisce un sistema di controllo e di coordinamento tra i computer in modo tale che se si fosse realizzata l'ipotesi che gli strateghi allora definivano come il rischio più importante che il mondo correva, cioè la mutua distruzione assicurata, i sistemi di comando e controllo sarebbero rimasti in piedi. Voi sapete che l'obiettivo dei militari è colpire i sistemi di comando e controllo e quindi i sistemi di comunicazione. Quindi nasce da un progetto militare, ma io credo che, questo lo sanno in molti ovviamente, ma forse molti dimenticano che questo progetto militare si è evoluto nel tempo con tutta una serie di altre innovazioni, perché ARPANET nasce nel 69, dopodiché viene definito dopo circa 10 anni il protocollo che fa interloquire tra di loro i sistemi di computer, cioè il protocollo TCP/IP, dopodiché solo nel 1983 ARPA decide di separare la parte militare dalla parte civile e decide a quel punto di, con già il protocollo TCP/IP dentro, decide di privatizzare internet e verso la fine degli anni 80 incomincia ad esplodere il fenomeno. Quindi diciamo che per 15 anni e più tutto il sistema di comunicazione è gestito dai militari. Però forse vale la pena di fare un altro riferimento storico. Tutta la tecnologia nasce in ambito militare. Voi ricorderete, molti di voi ricorderanno o sapranno che il computer è nato da un progetto militare, anzi da una pluralità di progetti militari, perché il computer nasce sostanzialmente da 3 progetti definiti dall'esercito, dalla marina e dall'aviazione degli Stati Uniti tra il 42 e il 43, quindi durante e nel corso della guerra, per 2 ordini di ragioni. Uno, per decriptare le crittografie dei nemici, e il secondo per l'obiettivo di puntamento dei cannoni. In particolare proprio quest'ultimo, che venne sviluppato dall'Università di Pennsylvania nel 1943, fu quello che diede origine al progetto ENIAC e poi al progetto UNIVAC, e poi diciamo quando von Neumann entrò nel progetto e scrisse il famosissimo articolo che poi definì i caratteri del computer, no? Ecco, lo definì all'interno di un progetto militare. Solamente nel 50 il computer diventa un oggetto di interesse civile, quando